So probably, when did we start you weight bearing? About 6 weeks?
Would be August, mid-August.
Okay.
So surgery was in the end of June, so early August actually.
So around 6 weeks is when we'll usually start letting patients put full weight in a boot on the extremity. How was it initially whenever you started putting weight on it?
It was more worrisome on my part than it was anything else. It didn't really hurt. I just was, but I have already atrophied pretty good in that 6 weeks. So, the leg had atrophied some, and so I was having to relearn, how to do some things. I'm like, what the heck, so that part was a little bit different. But also I was just, more cognizant that, oh my gosh, I don't want to put any weight down. I don't want it to pop and come off. And so that was probably more of in my mind than anything else. So that was really kind of the only thing. I was very quickly after that, putting probably way more weight on it than I was probably supposed to or probably ever told you. But everything, worked out pretty well.
Yes, he was a somewhat well-compliant patient. But then once we got towards the end of the weight bearing, boot period and everything else, his wife was quick to tell me what he had been up to.
That's true.
But overall, he did great. Now we did, at the end of that period, since he had some weakness of the calf and weakness in the area because of atrophy, we actually lengthened his Achilles tendon, which is a common procedure that we do with this retrocalcaneal exostectomy and detaching the Achilles and everything else. And the reason for that is the spurs happen because of that excess tension on the calcaneus. And as such, we want to alleviate that as well. So we did what was called a gastrocnemius recession, where we lengthen just one part of the muscle that comes down into the Achilles tendon, calf muscle, which I imagine for you probably created some of the weakness.
I think so.
And then the atrophy in addition to that is a major thing to overcome. So because of that, he was basically saying he feels a little weak in it and everything else. So usually we'll have the patient start physical therapy for this issue as well. How was physical therapy?
It's good. I went today. I'm still going through. I'm about to complete. I was there yesterday and today, and it's going great. Kayla's been taking super good care of me, and even today we were going through some of the exercises because you've really gotten way better in the last even several weeks. From everything going on. So I'm a big believer in physical therapy and making sure you keep going through all of that. So we're about done. I think we have a few more this next week, and then I think I graduate from that point on. So, but it's been going really good.
How did they start you initially? Describe kind of the physical therapy process. Did they start you initially with just certain exercises?
Yeah, just certain exercises, doing ABCs, with the foot, doing some stretches, back and forward, side to side, which I still do some of those as well. Footboard, doing ABCs on the footboard, really just starting to get the mobility back with the ankle and the calf and everything else. And then they started doing, I guess it's called scraping now, where they actually help with the scar tissue and that kind of stuff. And so that was really, I never had that done before, but it seems to be, really helping on the back, especially on the calf side.
Get rid of
the scar tissue. I think that's been really helpful as well. And then I graduated to some weight machines, doing, the side kicks, soccer kicks, and everything else, helping, with some stuff on the ankle raises, balance on both sides, because I also have MS, and so from MS, my MS has always been on the left side which is the tightness in the stuff for me, and so it's working a little bit of that too, and so, I always say I have a little bit of that that's always going on that left side, so in addition to all the awesome stuff, I've got to kind of pay attention to that a little bit, and so they've been really great with all that. But yeah, it started off pretty simple, and it started off picking up stinking marbles with my toes and putting them in a bucket, which I hated that. But it really helped with helped with all the mobility and getting everything back in that ankle and in the calf and the Achilles.
And you did physical therapy at OSC?
I did, OSC, yeah, with Kayla. So yeah, they've been great.
Good. How would you describe your overall process and thoughts of Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center?
Well, I mean,
with your experience?
I think fantastic. I saw them before for some bursitis stuff with Dr. Moses, years ago when I first came and moved back here to Oklahoma. And I had some physical therapy back then as well for that. And so the process has been fantastic. And then when I met Dr. Rohde, I will tell you, your staff and more, who also is a staff at Norman, they know you by name. They're like, I got you covered. Good morning, how you doing? And they call you by name. And so not only is obviously then you're back on the nursing staff, same thing. Everybody in there is very welcome. If someone owns a business, this is a fantastic place, folks. And so, I mean, they really do care all the way through as from the patient. And then obviously the doctor, like Dr. Rohde, I would recommend Dr. Rohde to anybody who has any issue at all. Not only from obviously who's capable of doing the procedure, but also from the bedside manner and the care side of it, because it's really been great. I mean, and the communication side of it. I mean, they're picking the phone up all the time saying, "How you doing? Things okay? We need to get you in for this or that." And it's been really good. So I'm very impressed with OSC. Very impressed.
Good. So cycling, we'll move on to that.
Okay.
Probably the way I always like to start with patients anyway, who are trying to get into exercise and everything else, they always tell me, I started an exercise program walking on a treadmill or running outside or running on a treadmill. There's always a treadmill involved. And then I always tell the patients that there are three main things that keep me in business, and one of them is high-heeled shoes, ladies. The other is diabetes. Can't get away from that. And the last one is treadmills. So the reason for that is you put the same strike pattern on a treadmill at the same time. Everybody has certain pressure points on the treadmill and everything else. So whenever patients are having pain in the foot, but wanting still to do something to get a good cardio and get good exercise, even with the fact that they're having some foot pain or some foot issues, I always recommend cycling first, because you're off of the foot and you're basically not putting so much pressure in certain areas of the foot that it allows you to actually get that exercise that you need. So what's the best, I don't like that. That's the best way to ask this. How would you say cycling has helped you with your fitness and with your foot issues and everything else?
I think you just said, low impact. So it's a low impact workout where someone of all ages, whether you're 14 or whether we have members here that are in their upper 70s, can go in and get a workout on a bike. Cyclebar is a premium indoor cycling center, so we have 50 bikes, stationary bikes, but they mimic a road bike. So you're mimicking riding the flats or the hills or whatever it might be. And because of that, you don't have the strike pattern. You have this lower impact workout, and people really begin to see that, and they can experience that whether you have a back issue or whether you're an avid runner. Even avid runners can't run every day on the concrete, because if they do, they train, they're going to wear their body out, and so they mix in cycling as well as part of their training regimen, or even triathletes. In addition to people like me who's not a triathlete or an avid runner, but who just wants to get a workout in here. And so that's why we did this business, because it gives us all those opportunities to get people of all kind of fitness levels and everybody else to embark in a fitness regimen that also for us is also fitness kind of meets entertainment, because we're also kind of in a club atmosphere. And we do it to music, which kind of makes it even more fun and kind of wraps around it. But yeah, it's about low impact.
Sure. Yep. So how did you get into Cyclebar? How did you?
That's a great question.
You wanted to start a Cyclebar.
That's a great question. So we, as a family, were looking for something that would be three things: one, good for the person; two, that builds community; and three, that gives back to community. And so we saw lots of different businesses that we wanted to do a family business. We saw lots of businesses that kind of met with one, but very few of them that were one and two, and there's only a handful, if not even that many, that met with 1, 2, and 3. So Cyclebar was one of the ones that really met with 1, 2, and 3. It builds the person. It's good for the person, both physically, mentally, spiritually. It has a lot of that aspects to it, kind of a yoga aspect as well. And then you also have it builds community. People in here love each other. They start to build a community. They ride with each other. They see when the people are riding. They want to ride together, and so it's that community aspect of fitness. And people are now friends because of this. It's really awesome to see. And then the last piece is the giving back. We do a lot of charity things here, charity rides, that kind of stuff, and they're things that are important to our members and our community, and that's what we're giving back. I mean, right now we're doing toy drives and food drives and things as well in here that is all member based. And again, so from a business perspective, how do we do something that's just bigger than ourselves and that kind of stuff? And so that's how it comes Cyclebar versus something else. And that's we're working on fitness for the body, and then we're doing some other stuff for fitness for the mind down the road.
So what would you, for someone who is new to Cyclebar, has never done it before, how would you describe it? What advice would you give them? And
I would describe it first as a party on a bike. So it's really different, and that's the best way to describe it, because you're in the room. You're on a stationary bike where you're clipping in, and we provide all the shoes, we provide the locker, we provide the towel, we provide the water bottle. All you gotta do is show up in whatever gear you wanna sweat it, because you're gonna sweat. And you're gonna get on this bike, which is 50 bikes in a room. It looks like a nightclub in there. It has the sound system of a nightclub, the light system of a nightclub, and we have our cycle stars who are trained, not even by us, we can't even pick them. We can pick them as people, but they have to go through unbelievable training by corporate to get to become a licensed cycle star. And they teach these classes. They are your trainer, but they're also your DJ, because they're the ones making the sound and the music for whatever that is. It might even be a fun theme ride, whatever it might be, rock versus rap, and we might have 2 of them up there, again, to make this fun. And so it's kind of where fitness meets fun. And most of the time, fitness is not very fun, and so that is why this is one of the biggest growing franchises around the country. There's over 200 of them right now, another 230 going to be opening in the next year and a half, and now they're moving into Japan, Australia, Europe, and so it's really taking off. Yeah.
Good. So, in addition to just the cycling, you mentioned that you are doing other things other than just pedaling a bike during one of these classes, correct?
It is. It's a workout. This is a workout on a bike. So this isn't just a cardio, low impact. So you're actually doing core work on the bike too. So you're doing things that looks almost like you're dancing, but it's all done for core. And so it's all riding to the rhythm here. You also have weight bars on the front of the bike. There's a 4 and a 6 pound. And so you'll be working out your triceps and biceps. And so you're getting a complete workout on the bike. Again, low impact, which is why it's so important. And then also, everybody can ride to their own selves. And so there's an instructor showing you things to do, but you got to do you. And so whatever is good for you. I can't do everything that everybody else does. I don't come off the seat, they call it the saddle, as much as others. And I get a great workout. You're normally riding somewhere between 8 and 14 miles in this 45-minute class. And so, and it's amazing. People will go, I could never ride 8 or 14 miles. There's no way I could ever do that. After that class, they come back in and go, you just rode, I can look at your stats, you just rode 12 miles. There's no way. I'm like, you just rode 12 miles. And they're like, I haven't ridden 12 miles since I was a kid. And so it's amazing, or ever. And so it's amazing to watch that stuff and to see their stats, go over time, and to see their strength come up and the resilience come up, but also to see the community build. That's probably, I would say, owning the business. These are just bikes and stuff, which is awesome. It's the staff here that's amazing, that treat you all the way from our CBX coming in the door, to the Cycle Stars, to the community that's themselves building it all up. That's what's really awesome. The bikes are the vehicle of which helps train the person, but it's the whole package. I'm an ex-Disney guy, so we want to make a Disney-esque experience in the fitness world. And so we're trying to bring that whole thing to them from a hospitality perspective as well.